supposed to be online? Because I feel like, okay, I'm the only one online.
Yep.
Hi, Donna.
You sent me a link. Am I supposed to be on watching?
Yes, if you want to, join us.
And
Jacqueline, is that what you wanted or no?
Yes, it is. So we're recording right now,
Oh.
and I'm excited that Trish has decided that she's going to hang out with us and talk to us in this really interesting time frame that we're in. My name is Jacqueline Richards. I am a mortgage professional and author of Yoga for Your Personal Finances. And I thought I can do all the yoga I want, but if I can't make sure that my relationships continue to be really productive and healthy, I had to ask Trish to come and speak with us. In this moment, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Trish. Aside from being the original founder of the Just Say Yes conference, Trish, it feels like it's this close and so far away. You did so much. Those events brought both men and women in to talk about finding clarity in their emotional balance or imbalance. Trish, really, I'm so pleased. You're a personal relationship coach, and that allows individuals and couples and singles who are looking for love, unlocking the opportunity to really be inspired, but not just by others, but by themselves. Trish is going to spend a couple minutes with us and tell us about some self-care. And I know if you're here, you probably saw that she's going to give us our 3 must-dos that I haven't been doing. Trish, I'll be honest, I haven't been doing it. I haven't been finding balance quite yet. While I'm a yogi, I haven't been redirecting my stress, as my husband might tell you. And I really haven't done something to make me happy. I'm so glad you're with us. Trish, grant us the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity and taking and allowing me to speak. And just to speak about the Just Say Yes that you were reflecting on, you were one of my first speakers at that first event back 11 years ago. So I can't believe how quickly time has gone by. And so I am really excited to be able to share these at this time there's a lot of stress. I'm getting a lot of calls, panic calls, people with anxiety and fears and everything else. And so I thought if I could just focus our time today on the self-care of that. And I would like to be able to just share my little bit of presentation that I have here. And there we go. So today, what I'm going to do is help people create their new tomorrow. And how do we do that? We're going to do some 3 must-dos in self-care. So the first self-care I'm going to speak about is nourishing our own resilience. And the second one will be about how to redirect stress into positive energy. And the third will be a self-check-in on what makes you happy.
Right.
And so we all know about self-care. There's exercise, eating, and sleeping properly, but there's also self-care is also about cultivating ourself, the knowledge of self, and understanding ourselves at a deeper level. And this is what becomes very important to us. And nourishing, how do we do this? Is nourishing our own resilience, becoming our own hero. And how can we do that? So it's a little tiny habits of self-care that can go a long way by nourishing our mind, body, and soul, giving and balance the giving and receiving. We hear that a lot, but we don't really truly understand that. And the thing is, we also understand the balance between the workplace and home and how to navigate that, because we're trying to work, our families are looking after our parents, looking after our kids, and we're always juggling. But I always say to the clients, there's the earth and the sky and the moon and the sun. Everything is always in balance. And if they go out of balance, then we're in trouble. And it's the same thing in our own life, is to take that time and create that balance. And sometimes we just need to begin with putting the oxygen mask on ourselves before we can help others.
Mhm.
And to take that time to breathe, and also to understand what is it we need in our life to keep us going, because we tend to lose ourselves with everything that's going on, or everything, all the stress that's coming at us. So one way could be also to surround yourself with positive affirmations and what you need, like I am safe, I am fine, I am healthy, I have my loving family around me, I have, because they're feeling sometimes so confined at this point that they feel that they are unbalanced, and they have that fear and the anxiety coming through. So just reflect on some of those positive affirmations that make you feel good, and that keeps you a little bit more in a calmer place as well. And most of all, I find it's very important to acknowledge our emotions when we're feeling overwhelmed. What emotion am I feeling right now?
Mhm.
Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it that I just need a hug? What is the emotion that I really need right now? Because when we feel overwhelmed, uh, we don't really, we begin to panic, and we don't even take time to breathe. So then taking that deep breath, I say, breathing in for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4, and then release for 4, can actually align ourselves a little bit and ground ourselves a little bit more. And I often start that with a client when they're very anxious. And matter of fact, I had one last week that was so panicked that she had to be confined in isolation for 3 weeks, because that's what her community wanted from her, to make sure that she was not carrying the virus. And she had only 2 more days to go, and she was just totally losing it. So, and she was crying and couldn't breathe. And so that's exactly what I did. I said, you're not even breathing right now, so take the time to breathe. So when she caught her breath, then everything seemed to, all of a sudden she felt like she had needed to get a glass of water. All of a sudden things started calming down within her body, and then she was able to express herself. So sometimes you have to ask yourself as well, is this my emotion that I'm feeling, or someone else's emotion? And I know myself, I had to ask the exact same question when I went into isolation 5 weeks ago. And because I could feel everyone's fears, and I could feel weighted, I could feel really panicking myself. And it's just my emotion, or after watching TV for a couple hours, and I realized it was the news media and everyone else's fears that I was feeling, as opposed to my own.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when we recognize that, then we feel, okay, yes, this does not belong to me. This does not belong to me.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of release that, you think, okay, what are my emotions that I'm feeling? What is it that I need? So, and also don't forget to ask someone for help. If you, sometimes it's just reaching out to a friend or a coach, or someone in a family member, or to your, a psychotherapist, whatever it is that will need you to feel more secure. Just sometimes even asking a homeless person for directions can make you feel very secure, that you know what direction to go in.
Right.
So it's basic things like that. And that's really important when we feel that we can reach out for help. So when I went to China 2 years ago, I witnessed, I went to the Shaolin Temple for 3 weeks, and I was there studying Qigong. I've been doing Qigong for 10 years now, and because I find Qigong helps with my inner balance of staying calm. Yoga, I really like yoga. The only thing is my knees are bad. So Qigong is like a standing yoga. So there's no on the mats, off the mats, because I have hard time with that. So that's why I really like the Qigong. And so it looks like it gives you an opportunity to kind of look inwards with your sensing and everything. So when I was there, I ended up on the very last week I was there, there was a Qigong conference. There just happened to be a Qigong conference they're there for a month, from people from Russia, Ukraine, all over the world, and they were Qigong healers. And so I asked if I could join their conference for a week. And what happened there was I ended up meeting people that do not eat food. There was 3 people there, with 2 from Russia. They hadn't eaten food in 2 or 3 years, and there was this one lady that hadn't eaten for about 75 years. She looked like she was 58 years old. They said the passport said that she's 125 years old, but that actually she's closer to 140. And she, but she had this amazing glow on her face that I've never seen a glow on anyone's face like that. And it was her aura that just exuded. But she knew how to give and receive. She knew how to accept and to just really feel her balance where she was, and be very present, and just be able to breathe. And there was that calmness, and I said to myself, why am I witnessing this? You brought me all the way to China. It was not on my bucket list to go there, and here I had this amazing opportunity, and I took it. And so Mother Teresa came to my head, and then I totally understood what the message was. And the message was, Mother Teresa gave her all. She gave her all to everyone. And what happened was, she ended up all humped over. She gave her total spirit, her total, what they call in Chinese, her total shen. She gave up everything. And so she ended up, her skin looked like an old fossil. Everything was depleted out of her. And so I believe that after seeing this lady, yes, it's important to give of ourselves, give to our community, but we also have to be able to look after ourselves and receive that energy and that spirit, so we're all in alignment. And so that was a very powerful message for me. So how do we go about that? We have to take the time to reflect and meditate, and our intention is to align our body, mind, and soul, and create success in our lives. And this is what provides the balancing from giving and receiving. Because when we're out of balance as well, then a lot of negative things kind of flow in on us, and we then begin to feel overwhelmed again. And the second tip for self-care is redirecting the stress into positive energy. So that chronic stress, yes, it leaves us feeling overwhelmed and mirrored in a negative mindset that fatigues us on a mental and a physical level. So some people who aren't feeling well, they feel that heaviness, right? They don't have that energy. Some people that are feeling that anxiety, they feel that heaviness. So how do we release that, and how can you turn it around? There's also good stress. It can motivate us to get more things accomplished. And I always say, when you're feeling really overwhelmed, just even put a timer on for 15 minutes to see how much you can get done. And you think, oh, that wasn't too bad, then maybe I can handle another 15 minutes. So if you break it into little baby steps, it's a lot easier. Or go for a walk for 20 minutes. Or even if it can only be 10 minutes, if you have, or go outside to breathe fresh air. Just to take that time for you. Put on some music, dance if you can for 15 minutes. It removes that heaviness. I remember back when I was really sick 6 years ago, someone said, well, dance. And I'm thinking, dance? I can't even hardly get off the chair. I can't even cook dinner for 2 minutes standing up. So I sat on the chair and I visualized myself dancing. And I just kind of moved my feet a bit back and forth, and put on some music and just visualize that I was dancing. So I could feel the heaviness coming off my body. Use some essential oils to calm you down or revitalize you, depending on what your needs are. And also, too, one thing, a move I do in Qigong is you take your right hand over your left shoulder and grab the monkey off the back and swing it off. And you do that a few times, and then you do the opposite shoulder. And literally, I've had clients say, that wasn't a monkey, it was a gorilla. So again, it's a very effective move in allowing, because we have to let things go and allow to, in order for more things good to flow in. So amp up your self-care by making sure that your vibration is higher and it's in alignment. And sometimes, like I mentioned before, it's just even sitting up a little bit straighter and breathing in and taking that breath and just mentally trying to calm yourself down and thinking of positive thoughts. And your energy frequency and vibration directly relate to your thoughts and surroundings. And that is our invisible power that we have. We can flip a switch and really see that resilience coming towards us, you know? And one other thing would be decluttering your office or your home and keep only the things that you love. The decluttering, I remember taking a couple feng shui courses, and I remember the next day I was leaving for Toronto, and my girlfriend called me. She said, "Well, did you do your feng shui?" I said, "No, I'm trying to get ready to pack and go to Toronto." And she said, "You got to do your feng shui before you leave for Toronto." I said, "I don't have time." She said, "Just do it." And so when I did, I could not believe in that 40 minutes. That only took me 40 minutes. I wasn't able to do everything because the one other thing I couldn't do was painting. So, but I just switched things around that was suggested. And then all of a sudden, it was just like my legs stopped hurting. And I'm thinking, is that even possible in 40 minutes that your body can really react to what is happening? So again, it's a strong message that how our emotions do affect our body as well as our health. So we need to learn how to deal with the stress and how to say also no by setting our boundaries, which is a whole different topic on its own. So the third thing would be your self check-in. Let go of drama. Quite often we have the drama of the news, what's going on, the devastation from this country, that country. Now we're being affected, watching the numbers. And so when you get caught up in that, then you're just putting yourself in such a turmoil and stress that is just going to affect your body. And the thing is, when you're on that high stress level like that, that is when you end up being sick. So the whole point is to calm your body down so that you can breathe, so that you can do that self-nourishing, that self-love, that self-care to yourself, to understand your self-worth, so that you can really position yourself. So being healthy, you're not going to, you have less of a chance of taking on anything else like sickness, right? So also by saying too that this too shall pass. I had a cousin that was really sick for many years, and she kept on saying this too shall pass. And I thought, oh, at least she has a positive outlook. But what she was technically doing was just suppressing. She wasn't even acknowledging the emotions she was holding on to. And so that was a real, I didn't realize till after she actually passed away that that was really happening.
Wow.
So again, really powerful message there. Her body kept on getting sicker, and it was just almost like a beach ball, that when we press down the beach ball, up will pop another sickness in her body. But she wasn't listening. And then it's just like the body saying, okay, you're not listening to this, we'll create this. You're not listening to this. And so she ended up actually having her organs totally shutting down on her.
Wow.
And they were hardening. And I'm thinking, you can't have organs that are hardening, you know, like it's, you'll get too sick. So also see the other person's point of view in an argument, just taking that time and realizing people have different perspectives on things, and to try to forgive them, and not, so that you can move forward. They might not, it's not condoning the act that they might have done, but at least it's allowing you to move forward so that you can get on with your life. Sometimes when you're repeating the same story, you're living in the past. And that's a big one, because we all have three personas in our life. We have Mr. Control that lives in the past. We have Grandma Wise that we're living more in the present. And then Mr. Exploity that is out in the future, always worrying about the future. What if, and what if the plane crashes? What if I get hit by a car? What if? So we all have those in us. It's just what is the percentage that is controlling us and driving us? And it's really important to reflect on that, because Mr. Control is almost like driving. How could you move? You wouldn't drive your car looking in the rear view mirror. So again, just take and try to figure out the percentage of really where your thoughts are, whether they are more in the past, whether they are more in the present or in the future. So by working on yourself, everyone benefits. And I say that to people when they call me asking for help. I say, when you work on yourself, everything shifts around you. So I love this little picture here, because this little caterpillar says, you've changed, and the butterfly says, we're supposed to. And quite often people just go through life just cruising and not changing anything. We are supposed to evolve. We are supposed to learn our life lessons, and that's why those challenges are coming up to us. It's all on how we deal with them and what story we're putting behind it. And so that's really important to know and understand. And we're all creative beings, so understand our own creativity. Like when I mentioned this one client that was in such a panic, I said to her, what is it you love to do? She's, and what makes you happy? You know, and she says, well, I love to bake. I said, well, then take this time to start baking, start being creative and seeing how things will shift, you know, putting on that music and all the other things I'd mentioned to you. And people are now, I'm seeing more and more on Facebook, people painting and doing all these creative things, which is so nice. I even had a girlfriend that violin came to her house, and she's going to try to learn how to play the violin. So it's so great. And it's fun as well. So take also time to write in your journal. And the attitude of gratitude puts us in a calmer place as well. When we see all the good things that we have going on in our life, and whether, you know, it's even having our house that we have to clean up, we should be grateful that we have a home, a warm home, that we're surrounded by people or not. But to know that to even clean the house is beautiful, because we have that opportunity for this pause and time to catch up on things that we've kept on wishing that we had an opportunity to do. Oh, I'll get that to doing that, clean out that closet or that drawer, what have you. But also by having that attitude of gratitude, your heart becomes so filled with joy, and the joy is our highest vibration. And that's what we all want in the end. So the body heals when we play, the mind heals with laughter, and the spirit heals with joy. And I would like to just conclude that I've seen people over and over again, the clients that are really end up in a very high vibration, the body even heals itself so much. I've even had one gentleman, he fell in love, and in 4 months, he was supposed to have a cornea eye transplant. He ended up, the doctor thought he had the wrong file. He no longer needed it. His eyes healed itself, which is like, how is that possible? But it did. Like, all his muscles came back, his body started reacting like he was 20 years younger. So it's amazing. Even his diabetes went away. So if we can really put and focus on that love inside ourselves, appreciate what we have, I think you'll be stronger for it for sure, because I do see it. So what direction do you want to take? This is kind of Alice in Wonderland, you know, the rabbit hole, you know, just this way. Do you want to go that way? You know, what matters to you? So create your own story. You have the power to do that. And if you need help with that, this is my contact information at www.innerrecovery.com, and my email is trishharris@bell.net. And my cell number is 613-715-0779. And thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for
Thank
this
you.
opportunity.
What a treat. And so I'm just going to check and see if we have anyone here who would like to ask any questions of you at this moment.
Sure, I'd love that.
So let's see, we've got Christine or Donna. Any questions? Wait, while you're thinking about that, living life intentionally is a conference that you're doing in
October 25th.
I'm so excited.
Yes, but it'll be our first virtual conference. So this will be all totally new for us as well. And we have some amazing speakers, and it'll be running about, it'll probably be on for about 3.5, 4 hours in a time frame from about 9 to 1 on that day. And
Okay.
but you'll definitely see more and more about it on Facebook and things like that. Thank you for mentioning that.
Looking forward to that. Any other questions? Oh, here we go. Hi, Chris.
Hi. My goodness, I had another one I had to attend from 12 to 12:30, and goodness, it's yeah, a bit wild today.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the and I'm sorry I missed a good part of yours, but so what was the date in October?
October the 25th. This
Okay.
October, we're going to be, like, you've been to our Just Say Yes conferences before, Chris, and I always appreciated you there. And but this year we're going to be doing it in a virtual setting.
Oh,
Yes, it's our first time. So we will be having vendors advertising there, as well as guest speakers, and it'll be a fun event. And the fundraiser is the proceeds are going to Journey House, which looks after people with autism.
oh, great.
How
So it'll be a
appropriate,
really
right,
fun
Chris?
event. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Maybe I could ask a question, Trish.
Sure.
I'm curious about, with everything that's going on, it's making the right intentions around staying grounded and into your self-care practice. So how do you recommend, really formulating the right intention so that you are able to move forward and continue down that path that you're trying to be on more and more?
Well, sometimes to me, it's all individual, what the person wants, right? And for myself, it's I really take it could be even simple intentions, like when we're drinking a glass of water. Donna, you do this all the time. You put the intentions on your food and what you're drinking and everything. And I've taken your course on intentions, and it was amazing and a real eye opener. But like when for myself, when you're drinking a glass of water, the intention of hydrating your body, your food, nourishing yourself. And but sometimes even the basic things, like when you're going for a walk, it's just like, this intention is going to take the weight off my shoulders, so I'm feeling a little bit lighter, so that I can breathe better. And whatever it is, it could be just those little baby intentions to really ground you more and feel in a safer place and not as heavy.
Yeah, I like to hear people's suggestions, because sometimes I find, the people that are closest to us, we want to help them. And it never really comes from us in the same way. So I'm often just curious how other people sort of, feel through all of that, especially with what's going on. So yeah.
I hope I answered your question okay.
Oh, well, there wasn't a right or wrong. I am curious how other people sort of approach it, especially during this time when self-care is even that much more prevalent. So yeah. No, thank you very much.
Okay. Sometimes we get caught up so much in our fear that we totally forget about this self-care. And that's why I thought that I would be a good opportunity to speak about it today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a big topic, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for the question.
Jacqueline, for having this as a topic. It's perfect.
Well, you know what? It's about going out for the ask. That word, COVID-19, I get it. I understand it. And I had enough of it. I'd rather speak to things like Trish speaks to. Chris was on the channel for de-stress with dessert. And so Chris spoke to us yesterday, and she didn't have to use a C word. What she did want to do is say, there's ways that you can manifest using mind and body and spirit. And that piece comes from Trish too.
Mhm.
You talked about Mr. Future,
Yes.
which is kind of interesting. So if you could just take a moment speaking about Mr. Future, and why is it a Mr.?
I said Mr. Exploity, I said, but yeah, it could be Mrs. Exploity, but it's the future is just some people. I'll tell you this story. This one person came to see me. She retired, and she said she'd already been retired, and she kept. And the thing is, she herself in a depressed state, and now she can't even get herself out of bed. Her hips are being affected. The emotions, she's starting to get sick with the stress that she's put on herself. And I said to her, just pick a door. It doesn't matter which door you pick, because
Wow.
you can close the door and try the next door. She literally left and she was skipping. She just needed that permission to open the door. So I found it so fascinating, because it was just the fear of the unknown blocks a lot of people.
I think we
And
get
so-
roped in this cyclical, it's going, and how do you get off that hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So some people, it's just that they need that permission, saying, but I could not believe she had a bad hip, and literally she was skipping away, so yeah.
I love those stories.
I think it's brilliant, because we all are that person, right? It doesn't matter, right? We all just have it in a different area of our life, right? We just think, oh yeah, no, that one I've got covered. It's not that one, it's the one that you'd never think it is, right? Like that's the part where we look at each other, right? And
That's right.
Why it's a mister? It is a mister, by the way, when you look at the future. Well, when you look at it from the masculine perspective, the divine masculine, that's the active one, right? So when you want to go to the future, you have to act to get there. So it needs the divine feminine, so don't worry. She's the one that's in charge anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
That's so good, thank you.
That's a great perspective, Donna. Thank you.
Oh, that's
a great
I
way
was
to
looking at yeah, that's why we have him. Well, that's the thing. That was the one I needed to get. Until those two are together, we're not getting anywhere anyway, right?
great way to conclude on that positive opportunity. A few giggles. Thank you on behalf of my heart. Thank you.
And thank you, Jacqueline, for having me. I really enjoyed it, for sure. Thank you.
What a treat. Hopefully you'll come back and speak again, because there's so many more. You did make a comment about you would talk about grabbing, oh my gosh, not just affirmations, but
boundaries. I was saying so much about boundaries. You can't even, so much to talk about just on that one topic.
Exactly. So you're going to have to come back.
Oh, thank you.
Because we've got it. We've got this. We got this. Anyway, everyone have a fantastic kind of day. And thanks for hanging out. And I absolutely appreciate it. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you again shortly.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you enjoying the Wednesday?